And a very good morning to you. Welcome to another week of remote learning with Miss Pitt. Woohoo! So today, Year 7, we are looking at the problems of combustion. If you haven't already done so, please complete the retrieval quiz on the student worksheet you've been assigned for today. So pause this video, complete your retrieval quiz by writing in your answers into the table, come back to this lesson video for your answers. So pause me and then come back. Okay, so make sure you're marking your work. Okay, so use the / to tick your work, add in the answers if they were wrong, or add them in if you left them blank. Okay, so the title today is The Problems Caused by Combustion. We learned all about combustion reactions last lesson. So some keywords. We are learning about 2 types of combustion today. Complete combustion is when there is plenty of oxygen available for the fuel to burn. Incomplete combustion is a combustion reaction that happens when there's not enough oxygen available for the fuel to completely burn. So the amount of oxygen is limited in this reaction. Carbon monoxide is a name of a gas that you need to know about today. It's a colourless, odourless, tasteless gas, and it's toxic to human beings. Greenhouse gas. A greenhouse gas is a gas that can cause global warming. And then acid rain is rain that is slightly acidic. Rain is slightly acidic anyway, but acid rain is more so. So what do we already know about combustion? What did we learn last lesson? So have a think about it. Think about anything you can remember. Okay, so what I think you should remember is combustion is a chemical reaction. It happens when a fuel burns. When they burn, they react with oxygen in the air. And that type of reaction gives out lots of heat and lots of light energy. Now, something we don't know, but we do need to know for today, is there are 2 different types of combustion: complete combustion and incomplete combustion. Complete combustion happens when there is plenty of oxygen available for the fuel to burn. And the only products produced, the only things made by this reaction are carbon dioxide and water. So there's the word equation: fuel plus oxygen goes to make carbon dioxide and water. Now, if you think about the Bunsen burners in school, we get a nice blue heating flame by opening the collar at the bottom. So remember, at the bottom of the chimney on the Bunsen burner, you've got this collar that can slide open and close. Now, if we open it, we're allowing lots of oxygen in to react. So this is a Bunsen burner going through complete combustion. Now, incomplete combustion happens when there is a limited supply of oxygen. There's not enough oxygen for the fuel to fully combust. Now, rather than getting carbon dioxide and water, we get carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, CO, not CO2, because there wasn't enough oxygen to make CO2. And sometimes you can just get pure carbon being made as well. Now, pure carbon is soot, okay, the black particulates produced by a fire that isn't burning completely. And water is also made. So complete combustion, you just get carbon dioxide and water. incomplete combustion, you get carbon monoxide, water, and carbon. And if we close the collar on a Bunsen burner, we're actually stopping the oxygen from getting in and reacting with the methane gas in the chamber. Therefore, it is burning incompletely, and that's why we've got an orange coloured flame. So, what's the problems with these two types of combustion? Why shouldn't we be burning as many fossil fuels as we are? So, firstly, we know complete combustion is when there's plenty of oxygen available. We know that carbon dioxide and water are made. Well, what's the problem? We know that this equation can be represented with a simple equation as well. Can you complete that? So we've got CH4 for methane. What's oxygen gas? O2 makes carbon dioxide and water. What's the chemical symbol for water? Good. But what's the problem with those products? Do we have any issues with water? No. So it must be the carbon dioxide gas. Now, carbon dioxide gas is the main greenhouse gas. Now, I'm not calling it a greenhouse gas because it grows in a greenhouse. I'm calling it, because it's produced in a greenhouse, I'm calling it a greenhouse gas because it acts in a similar way to a greenhouse. It helps heat up the temperature. It helps heat up the earth, so the average temperature of the earth is rising. Now that can be very problematic, and it's causing a problem called global warming. As I've said, this is where the average temperature of the earth is increasing. Now, this has devastating consequences, and it can cause lots of problems. For example, it can melt the ice caps, it can melt Arctic ice, destroy habitats, cause sea levels to rise, and it can also cause changes in weather patterns over a period of time. So it can cause long-term weather changes. So, for example, flooding, drought, where it's so dry, there's no water, crops die. So just to reiterate, the problem with complete combustion is the amount of carbon dioxide that's released. Now, carbon dioxide causes global warming. If we are burning more and more fossil fuels, we are producing more carbon dioxide. If we're producing more carbon dioxide, more of the sun's heat is being trapped in the atmosphere and heating up the earth, causing global warming. And again, the consequences of this are rising sea levels as the ice melts. If sea levels are rising, more land is going underground. We've got loss of habitats, and we've also got climate change, severe changes in weather patterns. So task 1, pause this lesson video, go and complete these questions on your student worksheet for today. Come back ready for your answers. Make sure you pause it. Okay, so the answers are: complete combustion produces carbon dioxide. The problem caused by increasing levels of carbon dioxide is global warming. A human activity that causes global warming is combustion, burning fuels, driving cars. You might have written something else. Name two problems caused by global warming: melting ice caps, rising sea levels, climate change, loss of habitats or ecosystems. Okay, so the problem with incomplete combustion. Now, we know that combustion happens when you burn a fuel. Incomplete combustion is when there is not enough oxygen available. So the word equation would be methane plus oxygen, methane being our gas that we're burning, our fuel, makes carbon monoxide plus carbon and water. Now the symbol equation to represent that, you don't need to be able to do symbol equations, but I do like to introduce you to them so you will be able to do them at some point in key stage 3 before you go on to key stage 4. So the symbol for methane is CH4, oxygen is O2. What do you think carbon monoxide is? So we're not saying carbon dioxide, 2 oxygens, carbon monoxide. Mon meaning 1 oxygen, so it should be CO. The symbol for carbon you can find on your periodic tables, capital C, and water, H2O. Now, what's the problem with this type of combustion? Fuel doesn't burn very cleanly. You can see all that black smoke. You can see the orange flame, which indicates incomplete combustion. And as I've explained, guys, this carbon that is produced is just pure soot. And as you can see in the exhaust of the car, there has been some form of incomplete combustion happening because it's full of soot. Now, let's look at each product of an incomplete combustion on its own. So carbon monoxide is very, very dangerous to human beings. It's actually poisonous to us. So if we inhale it, it can actually get picked up by our red blood cells in our blood, which stops our blood carrying oxygen around. And you know that every living cell needs oxygen for respiration. Now, because carbon monoxide is what we say odorless, tasteless, you can't see it, it's colourless, we as human beings can't detect it if we are breathing it in. So every home should be equipped with a carbon monoxide detector. Now, every year in the UK, roughly around about 80 people die from carbon monoxide poisoning in their homes. So this is really important. So carbon monoxide is a colourless, tasteless gas that we can't see, we can't smell, we can't taste, and therefore is very dangerous if inhaled. When we inhale it, it stops our blood carrying oxygen. And some people call it a silent killer. Silent, again, because we can't see it, we can't smell it, we don't know we're breathing it in. Now, the problem with pure carbon. One problem is because it's pure soot, as it burns, it can make surfaces dirty. Now, all of these tiny soot particles can actually clog up pipes as well, which can also lead to problems. And if inhaled, if you work around lots of soot particles, lots of carbon particulates, for example, many years ago in the Victorian times, they used to use young children to put them up the chimneys and clean them, sweep out the carbon. Now, lots of young children inhaled the carbon particles, and over a long period of time, when you inhale the carbon particles, they can build up inside of your lungs, and this causes breathing difficulties. It can cause lung disease, and it can cause respiratory problems. And lots of young children did die from respiratory problems caused by inhaling carbon particles. Now, there's an image of a trachea, a windpipe, that shows what happens to the lining of your tissue over a long period of time if you do inhale carbon particles. And we know that incomplete combustion produces water, but that is fine. So we've got carbon monoxide, which is a toxic gas. We've got carbon that, if inhaled, can cause breathing difficulties. So Task 2 on your student worksheet, I would like you to sort the following bullet points into the correct heading of the table. So you've got complete combustion, both, or incomplete combustion. So pause the video, go and complete that, come back once you're done. Okay, so the answers are as follows. So both of them burn fuels, both of them make water, both of them give out heat and light energy. So the final problem with combustion. Sometimes fuels can contain an impurity, so it can contain something other than what should be in that fuel. Now, quite a lot of the time, that impurity is sulfur. Now, if you look on your periodic tables, you can find sulfur with the symbol S. This is what sulfur looks like. And you can see when it is burnt as an impurity in a fuel, the colour of the smoke is slightly different. Now, that would suggest that something different is being produced in that combustion reaction. Now, just like when we burn fuel, we get carbon dioxide, or when we burn carbon with oxygen, it makes carbon dioxide. When we burn sulfur in oxygen, what do you think it makes? Sulfur dioxide. So the word equation for that, rather than writing it out in a big sentence, we can just say sulfur plus oxygen goes to make sulfur dioxide, which has got the chemical symbol SO2. Just like carbon dioxide is CO2. Dioxide meaning two oxygens. So the symbol equation, guys, maybe some of you could do it. Sulfur, find it on the periodic table. Oxygen gas is always, and it goes to make sulfur dioxide. Well done if you managed to complete that. Jot it down on a bit of paper. Good. Now, again, you don't need to be able to do symbol equations. Okay, I'm just using them so you get used to them. Okay, so when we burnt that impurity of sulfur and it's made sulfur dioxide, we've got this sulfur dioxide gas in the air. Now, that sulfur dioxide gas can dissolve in water droplets. And when it dissolves in water droplets in the air, it forms acid rain. Now, acid rain has got a pH of anything below 5.2. Now, pH acid rain isn't so acidic that when it falls, it burns your skin and corrodes your skin and starts, eating away at you. But it can have consequences on the environment. So let's just look at the word equation for when sulfur dioxide dissolves in water. So sulfur dioxide plus water makes sulfuric acid. But you don't need to really remember that. If you do, brilliant. But you do need to remember sulfur dioxide causes acid rain. Now, what's the problem with acid rain? Now, acid rain can affect the environment over a long period of time. So, for example, if we have lots of rainfall, and that rain is acid rain, it can turn soil acidic and it can damage leaves on trees. If it damages leaves and soil, the leaves can no longer absorb sunlight for photosynthesis, and therefore they can no longer make their own food and they will die. Acid rain can also contaminate waterways. So, for example, rivers and streams. If there's a lot of acid rainfall into those rivers and streams, the pH of the water can change, and the fish don't adapt to it quickly enough, they die. So it damages aquatic ecosystems, aquatic meaning water. And also, think about statues being left out in the rain over hundreds and hundreds of years. Metals being left out in the rain are also affected by acid rain, and we say that the acid rain corrodes them. So here we've got a statue made of limestone, As the acid rain falls, it weathers it, it corrodes it, it reacts with the limestone. And here we've got acid rain corroding metal. Now this happens over a longer period of time. It doesn't happen instantly as soon as rain falls. So task 3, I want you to go to your student assignment, click the link to watch the video, and then come back. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Moving on. Right, task 4, questions about acid rain. So guys, all you need to do is go to your assignment, type over the dotted lines, pause this lesson video, go and complete your answers, come back for your answers to mark your work. Okay, so the impurity found in fuels is sulfur. Gas formed when sulfur reacts with oxygen is sulfur dioxide. When when sulfur dioxide dissolves in water, it produces acid rain. The problems caused by acid rain damages trees, can damage fish or aquatic ecosystems, corrodes metals and statues. And then finally, the challenge, if you could write the word equation and the symbol equation for the reaction between sulfur and oxygen. Well done if you managed to do the word equation, and the symbol equation should be S plus O2 goes to make CO2 and H2O. That brings us on to our consolidation phase. So you've got 10 statements. Decide if they're true or false, and correct the false statements. So true or false, if they're false, you need to correct them. Pause the lesson, come back for your answers. Okay, so the answers are as follows. There are only 4 true ones. Okay, so what I would like you to do is rate your learning intention for today. So the learning intention was to describe the problems caused by combustion. So are you red, amber or green? There is a section on your student worksheet to do that.